Welcome back to the next lab manual, that is system administration in Red Hat. And what we are going to look for is, and we'll have a good idea about how the tool working is. So let's start. So the prerequisite is a Linux command you have to know. You have a Linux instance for that. And we start with Vmstat. Vmstat is a tool that collects and reports the data about your system's memory, swap and process resource utilization in real time. It can be used to determine the root cause of your performance and issues related to the memory you use. So go with the Vmstat. Just write Vmstat. It will offer you the Vmstat 1.5. It often runs an interval of 1 second for a small number of seconds, depending on the kind of problem an administrator is trying to diagnose. For example, we illustrate that interval is for 1 second, 20, and the 5 times. So Vmstat 1 and 5. A measure of resource demands, uptime, CPU plus disk. So you see the CPU, uptime you given, number of users, how much for it is running for, and the load average. A top command is the task manager that we went through. Just write top, it will give you the number of users, load, time it is being running for, the task, CPU percentage utilization, and yes, that displays the CPU and memory utilization. The next is PS. How to run a PS? Just write PS. It gives you a process status. So this is the PID and it says for bash. IOStat. IOStat is a computer monitoring tool used to collect and show operating storage, input and output statistic. So you just install systat. After installation to a IOStat, and the output will be in device partition name as listed in /dev directory. TPS, number of transfer per second that were issued to the device. Higher TPS means processor is busier. Block read, block write, block read, block write. So read per second shows the amount of data read from device expressed in number of blocks per second. Block written, amount of data written to the device expressed in number of blocks per second. Block read and block written shows the total number of blocks read and write. That is about the IOStat. Free. Free displays an amount of free and used memory in the system. So just free hyphen M. M is for mega, displays amount of memory in megabytes. K is for kilobytes. Then comes TCP. TCP is a command line utility tool. Yum install Tcpdump for installation. To begin, use the command Tcpdump --d to see the interfaces that are available to capture. So these are the interfaces that are available to capture. Any. Let us start using capturing some packets. Capture all the packets in any interface by running this command. Sudo Tcpdump -i. Any. Use this C option to limit the number of packets being captured. Let's see just 5 numbers to be captured. By default, Tcpdump resolve IP address and the ports into names. So after that, when troubleshooting network issues, if often easier to use IP address, disable name resolution by using -n and port resolution by -nn. So this is done by Tcpdump -i any -c 5 -nn. To filter the packets based on desired service or port, use the port filter, that is sudo Tcpdump -i any -c 5 -nn port 22. So that will disable to filter your packets on a desired port. And a Netstat. Netstat is a command line utility that displays network connections for TCP. So Netstat -a, then a bar line and more. So that will give you more information listing all the ports using Netstat. Listing only TCP, sudo Netstat -at. UDP -au. And as parameter to specify a set of protocols. netstat space hyphen s to state like set of protocols and showing statistics of only TCP protocol by using option netstat space hyphen st. So this is how it works. And there is a swap on. Swap on to to show the swap device usage. Then a slash proc sudo file system that will show you a proc file system in linux.proc file system is a virtual file system created on fly when system boots and it is dissolved at any time when the system shut down. So it contains the useful information about the processes that are currently running. It is regarded as control and information center for kernel. So ls space hyphen s space slash proc. The cat slash proc slash CPU info. If you want to get CPU info, you just do this. Proc slash sys slash kernel to get the kernel info. So this is about the proc sudo file system. And yes, the pluggable authentication system, that is PAM. So what does PAM says? PAM stands for pluggable authentication modules that provide dynamic authentication that supports for application and services in a Linux operating system. It is a security mechanism that enables protection through PAM instead of asking username and password. The dynamic authentication support for your system. So how it works? So ls slash etc slash pam.d. This is a directory that contains other services that supports PAM. Use to configure the password authentication. So use this etc slash ssh slash sht config. So this is about your Linux Red Hat administration. Go through this, make your documents, go through the lab manual, perform, execute, and upload it for evaluation. So let me stop over here. Let's take a break.